Sorry that I missed the first time.
No worries.
Okay, so I'm starting to think about a law enforcement response to the sound of shooting. I don't know. Do I know if that's a going concern here on this planet or in this neighborhood?
Roll galactic knowledge.
Where there it is. Galactic lore.
Yeah. You know that this is the station you're on the planet is run by the Republic. It is very likely that if this is getting reported, which it probably is, but anonymously, that the Republic will respond. However, because this is in the sort of more dangerous part of the station, it might be slow going. So if you ducked out quickly, you probably wouldn't be involved.
Okay. Is there a possibility of securing medical treatment for him without that showing up and leading back to us, connecting us to this incident?
Sure, depending on who you go to. If you go to a Republic doctor, they're probably going to ask questions. But if you go to someone a little less reputable, probably not. That's probably a question best asked of your contact.
Right. So we're here at this casino to try to meet somebody about a job.
Yes. You are looking for Everin Khusro, who's the owner of the Twice Born Star, the casino you were at. He supposedly has a job for you on the low key and something that will allow you to kind of stay out of sight from the gangs you've angered recently. So he would probably be a good person to ask about some less reputable or inquisitive doctors.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking we should do. We should go meet with him as soon as possible, and then before we start talking shop, we should probably see if he can't hook us up with somebody to treat Gak's injuries. Gak, how are you attired? I mean, do you just have gaping blaster wounds open to the air right now, or can you cover them, conceal them, so that we don't draw attention walking across the casino floor?
He's basically just, the most clothing he probably has is a loincloth and maybe some sandals or something like that. So yeah, pretty much his wounds are out in the open.
Okay, I wanna look around the area for a sheet or a tarp or something that he can kind of drape himself in, like it's a cape or a cloak or something, at least temporarily.
Okay, just make a perception
You'll have
check.
to be careful of sanitary issues. If it's dirty, it could infect the wound.
Blaster wounds are not necessarily bloody.
They're cauterized as soon as they're hit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look for it and give it to you and let you decide whether you want to wear it or not.
Easily done, Walt. You see the boxes over by the bigger building on the other side of the street? There's a tarp drenched over them, a blue some sort of sheer material tarp that's just kind of strapped down over them. You don't really see anyone around, and so you don't really think anyone will miss it.
Okay, I pick it up and kind of look it over, shake it out, get all the big chunks of dirt out of it, and I offer it to Gakarash and I say, I think maybe you should drape yourself in this at least for a moment before we make our contact to cover those wounds so that we don't draw attention to ourselves. But it's up to you.
Pauses and thinks about it for a little bit. Okay, fine. Takes it from you. Wraps it around himself temporarily. Alrighty, so now he's completely wrapped by the thing that kind of looks like a cloak right now. He looks around a little nervously to see if anyone else is there watching.
I take a step back and kind of look him up and down and say, I can't tell that you've been shot. Everybody ready to go?
I am.
Well, sure, okay. I still look kind of winded.
All right, so you're all heading in.
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, you enter the Twice-Born Star, or just the Star, as the locals call it. Immediately when you enter in, your senses are overloaded with neon lights, dancing, loud, but kind of beated music. You hear people laughing, screaming, just having a good old time. There's slot machines going. Well, you immediately pick out just about every Pazak table and Jajarik table in the room. You see, kind of in the higher elevated areas, kind of where the dancing is going on, and below that there are several tables, not just for gambling, but also for eating and that kind of thing. And to the side, you see a blue-skinned woman with black hair put up behind a bar, and she's you can see she's taking care of orders here and there, and doing it with style too. She's throwing up bottles and giving up cups and all of that stuff, making a little bit of a show for her guests.
Okay. I'm on the job immediately. I start scanning faces looking for our contact in the crowd.
Okay.
I look around, kind of bewildered by all the noise. Well, this place is interesting.
I'm obviously, just from one glance, look speechless. My jaw is kind of hanging out a little bit. I'm just kind of looking around, trying to take in everything. I am so used to the jungles and all that. I've never seen all these fancy schmancy lights and all that. Hey, what is that? Hey, what's that over there? Just trying to comprehend it. But at the same time, I know I have to stay with you guys. So, but yeah, I try to take in every amount of scenery that I can.
I
Dark?
look. What?
Oh, I was going to invite you to also comment.
I also look around in wonderment, having never been to such a big place before, such a big building and social place. I look around in amazement and wonderment and take it all in.
All right. Why don't you all roll perception?
Okay, that's the button you guys right above. Remember when you rolled initiative for your turn in combat? It's the button right above that one. Perception. And there's no need to click your token for this.
Wow, what's that mean?
It means you don't see anything. You're busy looking at the bright lights.
Pretty lights, bright lights. I see sounds. That's basically what you're going with.
I see
St-
sounds.
Statistic, do you see the button?
Lappy, can you give me
I
a
already
perception
rolled
roll?
Oh, you did. That's right. I'm sorry.
Do you have to click on your token first?
Nope.
No, not for this. Oh, that's only really necessary for the turn order roll.
Alright, there we go. So everyone but Garrick, you kind of get after looking over and the initial wonderment of the place for some of you wears off, you can see that there's a kind of a beat to this place. You can see that there's certain people who crowd one area and certain people who crowd another area. Looking around, you don't initially see your contact, and it's just too. While the place is both lit up, it's also dark in places. It's kind of an odd mixture, and so you can't pick him out amongst the crowd. Garak, you see pretty lights, and you see, you hear noise, and notice that none of these things look like trees or anything natural, and that's really just all that's in your head. You're so entranced by this, you don't even notice the people around you who just gawk at your appearance. Jaws are dropped, just staring at this odd creature who just walked into the bar.
Oh,
Eventually, one or two people will nudge them, and they'll get back to their drinking or whatever they were doing. But you're definitely an odd sight in this cantina. The rest of you notice the looks he gets.
Yeah. He's just trying to take it all in.
Okay, out of character, does everybody, do we know our contact by their face? We know what they look like, or just me, or does everybody know?
Well, you all know him by face. None of you have met him. Well, it's for you. It's a friend of a friend. You've not met him in person. This will be your first time, but they did send you a picture and his name.
Turning to the other party members, I recommend that we go ask the lady at the bar where he is at.
Yeah, I thought of that. GM, do I know anything about our contact's reputation that might suggest just asking strangers about his whereabouts would be a bad idea, and might attract unwanted attention our way for being associated with him?
I mean, not particularly. He's the owner of this bar, so it's not.
Oh.
It's not out of the ordinary for people to ask for him.
You said that. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea to me. Let's do that, Derek. Or was that Gamer that said that?
No, sorry.
It was my brother.
Sorry, I don't know you two's voices just yet, and I don't have TeamSpeak up in front of me. I'm just looking at the Roll20. Yeah, that's a good idea, Derek. Let's do that. I don't know if he meant.
AFK.
I don't know if he meant the Lady Tom Cruise from Cocktail or who. Well, that's the other thing I do, you guys. I make jokes that you're probably too young to understand. Or maybe, I don't know.
I've gotten a couple of your jokes. It's like probably like a 25% chance.
Yeah, I got it.
I believe he meant the woman behind the bar.
He did.
Right.
Crickets chirping. I'm kidding now.
All right, you approach the bar. You kind of have to push a little bit, Walt, to get in, and the other two of you do. Koya, you begin to follow the boys up to the bar, and then you realize that Gak is not moving. He's just continuing to just stare. So you pull him by his arm and kind of drag him over. He sort of follows, but his head's still up, and he's still mesmerized, but at least he's behind you now. Walt, you come up to her. You see a blue-skinned, red-eyed, fairly pretty individual. And as I said, she's doing trick shots and all the rest. But she notices you push up, and she turns and says, "Hi, what can I do you for?"
I'll have a white wine spritzer.
Coming up. And you,
That's
sir?
not really what I said. That was a joke.
Hey, you say it, I'm taking it.
Beer, please.
One beer. On you two?
I have
I'm not
no
having
idea.
anything, thank you.
I'm sorry, Bothan, you'll have to speak up. It's a little loud.
I'm good, thanks.
Right then. She turns around. She opens up one of the glass see-through cabinets and takes out what looks to be some kind of cylindrical glass bottle. It's a green-shaped one, and she pours it into a chrome cup, and she offers it to you with a little napkin underneath. That'll be all.
That's it. Oh, I'm sorry, Zeri. What's the guy's name?
Evram Khusro.
Khosrow?
Khusro.
Khosrow?
I'll spell it for you.
Evran Khosrow. Okay. I say to her, we also have an appointment with Mr. Khosrow.
I see. Name?
Walt Conover?
Oh, okay. Of course. One moment. And to this, she goes into another room.
Out
You-
of character. Where am I?
You are so you're all at this bar, and it's kind of a U-shaped bar, and it's kind of packed. The other three had to kind of find their way in. You are standing right behind Koyo, and you're just you're kind of back, standing just kind of in the middle of the floor, staring up at everything.
Huh. Pretty colors.
After a minute, she comes back. He'll be right with you. Go ahead and sit on table 4 there together, and he will show us when he can.
Thank you.
Oh, well.
Thanks.
I head to the table that she indicates and motion the others to follow.
I just stand there looking at
And
the
look-
pretty lights.
I grab Gakarash's arm and walk around, watching my surroundings warily as I can see people staring.
I get dragged along, but I'm still staring at those pretty lights.
I'll walk over to the table.
All right.
Gak, if you try not to seem quite so gobsmacked, you might attract less attention.
What? Say something?
After several of the customers kind of they've settled down from staring at Gag since he sat down now. A fairly tall, fairly broad-shouldered Zebrak comes walking towards y'all. Very slow, kind of a slow, methodical pace, making sure everything in the rest of the bar is going according to plan and everything else. And he makes it towards your table and just nods at y'all.
What time of day is it?
It's about 8 or 9 p.m.
Okay, I look up and I say, evening.
I simply wave my hand at him.
Do I recognize him as Mr. Kusro?
Yes, you recognize him from the picture. It's from the picture you were given. He's, again, very striking. Easy to spot him in a crowd kind of thing.
Out of character question, he's got very little of it, but would I sense a little bit of disturbance in the force around this guy?
Make a use the force check.
Alrighty. Let me see. Am I right to assume I'm using force points? The die with the force points?
No. It's a use the force check at the bottom of your skills.
Okay. Alright, use the force. Alright, I got 20. So, that's a pretty big number. What am I sensing now?
As he approaches, you do sense a small amount of dark side energy surrounding him. But with that roll, your senses are brought to the horizon, but that's not unusual in this place. You can feel that sort of dark taint just kind of everywhere. So he seems like he's probably a miscreant, but not any different than anyone else around here.
Basically just an unsaved person or whatever, in Christian aspect.
Sure, from a Christian perspective, here he's just everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Just the world. Alrighty, good. He kind of looks over after kind of getting a little distracted by the lights. He kind of nods to him and then turns back to get a big old gaze at those pretty lights again.
I just eye him suspiciously.
Okay. The Zabrak kind of motions for one of you two to kind of scoot over for a second, so he can sit down and discuss business. Or at least that's what you get, the feeling you get.
Are we seated at a booth with kind of bench seating around it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a semicircular booth.
Okay, I had pictured us at like a table with chairs, so I'll kind of scoot in towards the middle and I'll let him sit next to me.
Oh, okay.
He takes a seat after nodding to you. You hear about the job?
Yeah, but first things first. We ran into a little local color out in the street, and it shot our friend here. And we need to get some medical treatment for him. Can you recommend someplace?
You hear a deep sigh from him.
Someplace discreet?
Yeah. We have a spot in the back. Business first, though.
Hang on a second. I don't think he's going to die from his wounds, but he probably needs medical treatment as quick as possible. Tell you what, why don't you let him and Koya there go back and see to his wounds while Derek and I stay here and discuss business with you.
He thinks it over, and you can tell he's really thinking it over. Then he looks over at Koya and Gakurash, and he says, "See Nell."
What did he say?
See Nell. Or, sorry, yeah, see Nell, referencing the bartenders who you...
Oh, okay. Oh, see Nell. Go talk to... Okay, alright, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You get the gist, he's a man of few words.
So he's laconic. Fine.
Yeah.
So I look over at the others and I say, is that okay with the rest of you?
I kind of look over at Koya.
You guys there?
They just got back.
Oh, they weren't here.
Okay.
We'll just say for Flappy's sake that she nods and the two of you go up to the bartender. But we'll conclude them later, and you guys continue.
Happy now?
What are we doing?
Okay, we're talking to this guy who may have a job for us, but in the meantime, I've asked him to see to Gakrash's injuries, and Koya has gone with him to keep an eye on things, while you and I stay here to discuss the business, the business.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
Oh.
And in regards to Everett's question, I answer him. I say, I'll be happier when my friend is healed, but we'll see to that later. Why don't we get down to the business?
Nell will take care of him. Business is simple. Another gang is smuggling weapons from Hutta. They're bad. Armor piercing, shield piercing, that stuff. The payment will be 1,500 credits if you destroy the weapons, and an extra 1,000 if you manage to make it look like an accident.
How can we make it look like an accident?
Because among the weapons there is also explosives. Boom. Makes simple story.
Are they some kind of experimental, unstable explosives that are known for just spontaneous detonation if you jostle them wrong or something?
Not sure about that, but they pose a problem to me and my organization.
How did you acquire this information?
Good question. Next.
Does that mean that you're not going to answer his question?
He nods his head yes. This line of work, it's best to keep secrets when you can.
All right. Well, we need to know some more details. Where is this gonna? Where, and when can we intercept this shipment? And how many people are going to be guarding it? What's the opposition?
And with that, he pulls out a data pad and shows you exactly where the location is going to be. This weapon compound is where you look for. Should be low number of guards, minor security system. Should be easy, snatch and grab, or sneak in, blow up, get out.
Are there any other secrets you're not telling us that we should know about?
I know all secrets. But whether you are worthy of knowing them is not, or there's no answer to that yet.
Does this location have multiple entry and exit points? I'm asking the GMs. I'm kind of looking at this data pad that he handed me and studying it.
For that, you note that there's definitely at least one main entry point that is about as big as a basically a cargo, a warehouse door, double doored, large enough for them to wheel big stuff in.
Can I see the map where the encounter is going to happen?
I don't know of a way to give it to you without showing all the other stuff too. I can just describe it for you. The room the complex is out in the middle of like a grass field area, but most of the buildings on this are on grasslands. It's got a sort of squiggly L shape to it. It's not a very large complex, but definitely big enough to hold cargo. There's an area that looks like it's probably a cargo bay on the sort of the right side, and there are smaller rooms attached to that. And there's another that's like that, just kind of a boxy L that is where the main door is. You're not sure where that is, but it also has a few rooms attached to it.
So there's only the single way in and out. There's no side doors or back doors.
From what you can tell on this map, yes.
And the target is supposed to be in the main large cargo area.
Yes.
I look at Evan Crusoe and I ask him, so why exactly did you want us to do this, us specifically?
You're not from here. The quads don't know you, so easy plan.
He's hiring us because there's no way it gets back to him.
Ah, okay.
Pretty much. That and a mutual friend said you need help, so this help.
We'll take the job.
Good. That will be that favor dealt with. Once jump is done, you come here. Unmelt.
Fair enough.
All right, before this conversation ends, we'll switch over to the other two.
Okay. Just say I want to study this map a little bit. Does he give me the data pad to keep or just to look at?
You get the feeling it's kind of to look at, but
Okay, then I'm going to study it a little bit more and maybe ask a couple more questions while we're doing this other thing.
okay, yeah, that's fine. Like I say, you get the feeling he probably wants to keep it.
That's fine. I'll just study it for a few more moments until the others get back.
I'll look over his shoulder and read it as well.
In the meantime, Koya, Gak, you return back up to the bar. A little bit more, Gak, you're a little more focused now that you know what you're doing. You approach the woman again. What do?
I don't really know what to do. I kind of glance over at Koyai.
Wait, we're getting him to a doctor, right?
Yes, and Everin told you to speak to the bartender. He called Nell, the woman you had seen earlier.
Alright. So I smile sympathetically at Gakarash, and then I look over at the woman. Your owner told us that there's a doctor that you could tell us where he is. My friend here, he needs some help.
She flashes a winning smile to you, and even though her eyes are pupilless, there's a joy in them that's kind of strange. But she smiles and, oh, not a problem. One moment. Gary, get over here. She yells, and a large human man comes in. He's got big biceps and tattoos, nods, and he starts pouring drinks and starts taking orders. And she waves the two of you over into the same back room that she went in earlier to call over Evan. Follow me.
I follow her and look around very suspiciously as the rooms get darker.
Go ahead and roll perception. Roll perception.
I'll roll it too if you'd like.
Can if you want. Okay, as you descend, the room you go in is initially dark, and then there are these bright neon blue stairs that descend into the lower area. As you descend the stairs, the music gets quieter and quieter. It never gets to the point where you can't hear it, but it is muffled. When you get to the bottom of the stairs, you see a white tiled room. It's just plain white tile everywhere. It's really nice, and it's a stark difference from the neon blue and kind of gritty look to the casino. She points over to another door, and she says, "We'll be heading in that way. This is our VIP room. We do have a specialized medical area for important people. I'm sure you qualify if Everin's sending you my way." And she leads you down the door.
I
Not
kind of look
sure.
around.
The character isn't quite sure what to do with this and just nods slowly.
I kind of look around, just trying to keep my wits about me now. There's no more pretty lights and stuff. I kind of come back to my senses, and I'm just keeping prepared for anything unexpected.
As you look around, you do notice that this room does have a few patrons in it, like a dozen at most. There's a group seated on some red velvet couches. Most of them seem to be scantily clad women who are surrounding what's probably a very rich individual, judging by his attire. You can see several of them are smoking death sticks. There's another corner where a game of Dejarik is going on, but it's not like the ones upstairs, which have bets and people around them. This one looks very serious and calm. As you notice, the noise level in here is lower. Even the party in the corner is rather quiet. It's just, you can tell, as she said, this seems to be a place for specialized people or people who want to do things with not being out in the open. She opens the door to you. And as you can see that there is a well-equipped medical office in here. It's tiled in the same plain white as the other room. However, it's a little bit larger, and there's more things in here. There's two large Bacta tanks in one corner. There's a bed with what we would describe as an IV kind of system above it. As long as it was a medical droid who seems to be either cleaning or keeping up with something in the cabinet, you're not quite sure. She puts her hand on the bed, just kind of taps it. Sit here, love. I'll make sure the droid takes care of you.
Is she looking at her or at me?
At you.
Okay. I sit down, you hear this big, loud, my character's really heavy. How much weight can this bed carry?
Do you sit on it?
Yeah, I listen to her advice. She tells me to sit. Okay, so I do. I'm guessing I weigh about 1,000, over 1,000 pounds. How much can this thing carry?
Well, you probably weigh only about 500, 600 pounds, I would say. But as you sit on the table, there is a moment of hesitation where you're wondering, oh, maybe this thing can't hold. But then as soon as you sit in it, it stays. And not only does it stay, the cushioning kind of seems to mold to you, and it's actually a really comfortable seat.
I kind of throw back and just kind of relax.
Okay, the further you go down into the seat, as you're laying back, the more the bed seems to sort of form to your body shape, and it's probably the most relaxing and comfortable experience you've ever had in your life.
I kind of take a quiet sigh of relief.
You see Nell goes off over to the droid. She says something in a language you can't understand. And then she returns, and the droid approaches you. Examination in progress. Please do not move.
Okay.
So tell me, how did you get those wounds?
Yeah, that, sure, scratches his head a little bit. Kind of a long story.
I put my hand on his shoulder and smile slightly at him, giving him a look that tells him that I can handle this, and I look over and shrug. There were just a few people making trouble who decided they didn't like how he looked or something. We're not really sure.
Ah, it's unfortunate. He seems to look just fine to me. But there are always troublemakers. We try to keep it down around here, but, once they leave the casino, we can't really do much about it.
I nod.
I hope you'll take the draw of Everen's offering. I heard that he's quite eager to see your potential. There might be work afterwards if you do this right.
And I look at her curiously. And how do you know about this job?
I'm the barkeep. I know everything.
I nod slowly, and then a look of thoughtfulness comes over my face. Have you happened to heard of any young Twi'leks passing through here?
Roll perception.
Hmm?
Roll perception. For a moment, there's a look in her eyes that looks searching. It's just a moment. You just barely see it, but it looks as though she's examining you and going right through to your soul to seeing really what it is you're trying to say to her. But it passes so quickly, you're not even sure you saw it. And instead, she switches over to another smile and kind of shakes her head back, blowing away some of her curls. We have many young Twi'leks that pass through here, but you never know. I could ask Everin if you have a name or something to look into it. Maybe if things go well, we might have some information for you. For a price, of course. Everin doesn't do things for free.
I sigh and nod slowly. I see. Well, thank.
Of course. Anytime, love. As this conversation finishes, I roll to see how much you heal back.
Hey, Blappy, keep in mind that was a critical success. That was pretty much the best possible result you could have gotten on that.
Awesome.
Alright, Gak, you heal for 15 points of HP.
He's AFK.
Right, I will just add it to him for him.
Sorry, I'm
Down
back.
20?
What happened?
We tossed you out an airlock. You got healed a bit.
Alright.
Is that correct? He was down 20?
Mm-hmm. He's about 5, yeah, he's 5 points off max health.
I start
So-
to feel a bit better now. My not as wiped as before, and definitely my arm and knee feel a lot better.
Feeling
I turn-
better, love?
Yeah. Turns over to the robot. Thanks, droid buddy.
Thanks is not required. And the droid slowly moves off. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm sure Evan would love to have you back.
I get up from my chair. Well, I'm ready. I look over to Koyai to see if she agrees with me, or if she'd like to suggest anything else.
I shrug. Well, I've never been here before, but I would guess that we were probably supposed to be at the table a while ago.
Well then, let's not waste any time. And she takes you back out the same way you came. And she takes you back to the table, and we come in right where we left off from the last conversation. And you two come in. Nell is in front, When she gets to the table, she nods to Everin and then she looks to the others. Is there anything I can get you? Another beer, perhaps?
No, thank you.
Sure, I'll take one.
Right then. And she leaves.
You feeling any better, Gak?
Yep, feeling good.
Any questions?
Yes, what exactly is the, mission we were supposed to be doing?
Basically, you go to warehouse, make weapons go boom. If you make it look like accident, you get more money.
We've got the details for you. We can fill you in after we leave when we're somewhere more private.
I nod.
About this time, Nell returns. Here's your beer, love. And if there's nothing else, that'll be 10 credits.
I don't have 10 credits.
How did you think you were gonna pay for your beer? I pull out my billfold and I look at her and I say, 10 credits, what's there, gold floating in it?
Maybe. It is one of the final ones.
I lay down a 10 credit bill. No, I lay
Of
down
course.
I lay down 12 credits.
Thank you kindly. You do realize you never paid for your beer either, so this is for both.
Well, you never asked for payment for my beer.
No, I didn't. Have a good day. And she
And you.
leaves.
Thank you.
Out of character, Blappy, do you have any personal questions for this guy? It'd be a good time.
Nope, I'm going to follow Nell's advice. I don't quite trust this guy at all, so.
Okay.
Back to the pretty lights, though I'm starting to not be as mesmerized. I'm starting to become a little more aware of the situation at hand. I kind of look at him, I feel a little... he seems a little odd to me, but, really... he's good enough, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think we've got an understanding here. Thank you, Mr. Curso. Kuzro.
Guzro. He extends his hand.
I offer mine and shake his.
I also offer mine.
And he returns your handshake and pleasure doing business with you. I will be happy when this is successful. I hope to make sure that you are well compensated and continue to work with us.
Be back shortly.
He nods.
Alright, with that, I think we will take our 10-minute break.
Okay.
Alrighty.